may be, the idea of being free is just as useless as the idea of being right. Freedom doesn't make much sense when one person's freedom robs another person of their freedom. Whenever there is a call for freedom, you're always having to ask, whose freedom is being protected?
The basic problem with working in an office is you're just not in control of your work environment.
Perhaps you're an entrepreneur like me who works at home. Maybe you're a remote worker, a student, or someone who is working on their side hustle part-time at home. If any of those situations apply to you, or if you're just interested in hearing what I have to say on the topic, stay tuned for today's video.
Instead of buying and selling our working time, we now must buy spare time, so that we may consume it. It is consumption, not production, what rules work.
You see, what we're actually trying to do here is we're trying to get a feel for how people spend their day at work. So, if you would you walk us through a typical day for you? Yeah.
Work is not only a necessity, but an economic and cultural imposition.
Actually, maybe I could set my sights a little bit higher.
Stephen, that thing is higher than architect.
The pursuit of flexibility has produced new structures of power and control, rather than created the conditions to set us free.
Amazon is hiring. Amazon is hiring at up to $25 per hour. You're actually going to have to exchange your time for money, but at least you're going to get paid, and you're going to get paid quickly with it.
Is it still possible in our time to think of the independent worker as someone who has chosen this path? Or rather, to be an independent worker is a consequence of our unequal economic system and therefore a pursuit to survive? Rigid forms of bureaucracy are under attack. Workers are asked to behave nimbly, to be open to change on short notice, to take risks continuously, to become ever less dependent on regulations and formal procedures. All the personal relations are becoming professional, and at the same time, practitioners move from one project to the other, based on personal affinities. The possibility of the entrepreneur's existence is only due to his hierarchical position over other class of workers who are left behind. On Saturday 19 of October, a group of independent workers from the Haggerston neighbourhood in London worked on Rehearsal that tried to redefine the idea of community, generating a new informal and fragile organisation for collective actions. Under this rehearsal, the audience received a set of different roles, asking them to perform simple tasks that made the event possible. The rehearsal asked the performers to be themselves, to not try to represent or perform other bodies. The rehearsal aimed to expose a constant liminal state, where the divisions between the interior and exterior, and the individual and the collective, were constantly challenged. Why a project about contemporary independent workers ended up proposing a rehearsal? Why a project that criticizes the idealization of the flexible and precarious work, at the same time is carried out independently and precariously? Why a project that is critiquing the overwork happened on a Saturday? The same day of this rehearsal, in Santiago de Chile, a massive citizen movement began. What started that day as a demonstration against the rise in the transport, evolved into a series of massive protests, manifesting the anger and frustration of the population against the profound inequalities produced by the neoliberal system in the last 30 years. That same day, a state of emergency was declared in Santiago, as ordained by Chile's dictatorship-era constitution, The state of emergency granted the government additional powers to restrict citizens' freedom of movement and their right to assembly. After 25 days of protest, the brutal repression from the military and the police had killed more than 20 people and left without complete or partial vision more than 200 people. Until it is worth living. A demand where dignity life itself has been called into question, making it clear that the company of living a decent life has been the privilege of only a few. Organization has its effects. It means that you discover that you are not alone, others have the same thoughts that you do, you can reinforce your thoughts, and learn more about what you think and believe. I know that is very difficult, we have so many things to deal in our own lives. Exhaustion and overwhelming do nothing but isolate ourselves. Organizing us is the only way to face the challenges of the present. Organization is a source of power, in fact, it is the source of power for those without economic power. We must understand freedom not as a personal right but as a collective action. We have to revolutionize time and not let this moment pass, and try to survive together in the liminality of the actions that united us.